A lot of people buy stablecoins thinking it is the safest play in crypto. Stable, simple, almost risk-free. But stablecoins are not actually stable, and these four risks can hit you way harder than most people realize. In simple terms, a stablecoin is a cryptocurrency designed to stay at a fixed price, usually by pegging itself to another asset. Most commonly, the US dollar. Risk number 1, peg risk. There are four major types of stablecoins: fiat-backed stablecoins, crypto-backed stablecoins, commodity-backed stablecoins, algorithmic stablecoins. And here is the problem. Crypto collateral is volatile. Commodities swing wildly. Algorithms can break. We have already seen what happens when they fail. UST collapsed, and people lost everything. Risk number 2, reserve risk. Right now, the biggest stablecoins are USDT and USDC. They are basically private digital dollar, IOU. The promise is simple. For every one USDT or one USDC, there is supposed to be one real dollar, or dollar-equivalent assets, sitting in reserve. But here's the question. Have you ever seen the reserves yourself? No, regular people cannot verify it. You're trusting a private company when they say, "Do not worry, we are backed." And that trust can disappear overnight. In March 2023, USDC, the stablecoin everyone called the safe one, suddenly dropped to $0.88. Why? Because the market discovered that Circle had placed $3.3 billion of its reserves inside Silicon Valley Bank right before SVB collapsed, and people started asking one terrifying question. What if the money is not there? That is when the selling began. That is what a reserve crisis looks like. Risk number 3, bank run risk. Yes, stablecoins can suffer bank runs, just like real banks, because issuers do not keep tens of billions in cash sitting in a vault. They buy treasury bills, they buy short-term debt, they invest reserves. That works fine until panic hits. In a crisis, assets cannot always be sold instantly, or they can only be sold at a loss, and once people believe redemption might fail, everyone rushes for the exit at the same time. Market makers pull liquidity first, retail dumps next, and the peg breaks. That is exactly what happened with USDC. Now you might ask, wait, is not USDC redeemable one-to-one? Why did not Circle just redeem everything at $1? That is the biggest misunderstanding. Stablecoin redemption is not equally available to everyone. This system has 4 layers: issuer, authorized partners, market makers, exchanges, retail users. Circle only redeems directly with large institutions, the authorized partners and market makers. Regular people cannot just walk into Circle and cash out USDC for dollars. You can only sell on an exchange. So when USDC fell to $0.88, most users were stuck watching the price collapse. So how did it return to $1? Not magic. Arbitrage. Institutions with direct redemption access saw the opportunity. They bought USDC at $0.88, redeemed it with Circle at $1, and pocketed $0.12 per coin. That is a 13.6% profit, basically risk-free, as long as redemption stays open. They kept doing it until the market price was forced back to $1. That is the self-repair mechanism of stablecoins. But it only works if redemption survives, and reserves are real. Risk number 4, technical risk. USDC on Ethereum and USDC on Solana are not the same asset under the hood. They're separate systems. To move between them, you rely on bridges. And bridges are one of the most hacked parts of crypto. If a bridge fails, your stablecoins can get stuck or disappear. Over the past few years, cross-chain bridge hacks have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars. So here is the real correction. A stablecoin is not US dollars. It is a private token that behaves like dollars until it does not. Its stability depends on 4 things: what it is pegged to, whether reserves are real and liquid, whether redemption stays open during panic, whether the infrastructure is secure. So with all these risks, Why are hundreds of millions of people still using stablecoins? And more importantly, if stablecoins are so profitable, who is actually making the money? Because yes, stablecoins generate massive profits, but most of that money is not going to regular users. In the next video, I will break down the 4 real winners of the stablecoin system and show you exactly where the money flows. Subscribe and see you next time.